Alright, welcome back to the Yagi Antenna Design Series. In the last video, we calculated the driven element's length because the driven element is the part that actually resonates at our target frequency and sets the foundation for the whole antenna. Now this is episode 3. If you missed episode 1 or episode 2, the link is in the description and in the playlist. Now in this video, we'll add in the next piece that turns a simple dipole into a real Yagi, the reflector. We're going to calculate the reflector length and more importantly, the spacing between a driven element and the reflector. That spacing is what helps push energy forward, reduce signal from behind, and improve your signal quality. And don't worry, I'll keep the math simple. I'll show you the common percent ranges most Yagi builders use. Then we'll plug in real numbers and get the exact reflector length and spacing for your frequency. Let's get into it. When a high frequency travels through the driven element, it causes an electromagnetic field to be developed around the driven element. This electromagnetic field looks like the figure 8 when viewed from above. This pattern shows radiation going in both the forward and backward direction. This is normal for a dipole antenna, which is used in the Yagi as the driven element. However, when designing a Yagi antenna, you want your radiation to go in the forward direction only, towards the directors, not backward. So this is where the reflector comes in. The purpose of the reflector is to send the radiation it receives back towards the driven element, where it would join the driven element's forward radiation towards the directors. This function increases signal strength. So now I'm going to calculate the length of the reflector element. The reflector element is always longer than the driven element. Now we're going to use the wavelength to do that. The full wavelength is 12.31 centimeters, but we don't use the full wavelength. We use half a wavelength, which is 6.16 centimeters, the same length as the driven element, which is also 6.16 centimeters. So the reflector element is between 3% and 7% longer than the driven element at 6.16 centimeters. 5% is most commonly used. So today we're going to use 5%. So I have here 6.16 times 1.05, which simply means 5% longer, which is equal to 6.47 centimeters. Now the reflector element is 6.47 centimeters. So it is 5% longer than the driven element at 6.16 centimeters. Now we have to calculate the spacing between the driven element and the reflector. Now if the space is too close, the wave hitting the reflector will be too strong. So when it's reflected back to the driven element, it would cause the antenna to detune, and you'll also get a high SWR. If the space is too wide, the wave hitting the reflector would be weak. So the signal reflected back to the driven element would be low. So the transmitted signal from the driven element out towards the directors would also be low. Now to calculate the spacing, we use the full wavelength as we have here. Full wavelength is equal to 12.31 centimeters. Now the spacing between here is between 15 and 25% of this full wavelength. Now 20% is most commonly used. So in this case, I'm also going to use 20%. So here I have the full wavelength, 12.31 centimeters times 0.20, which is equal to 2.46 centimeters. So the distance between the driven element and the reflector is 2.46 centimeters. So in this video, we calculated the length of the reflector and also the spacing between the driven element and the reflector. Now in the next video, I'm going to be calculating the length of each one of these directors, plus I'm going to be calculating the spacing between them as well. This is the third video in a series of videos. If you haven't seen the first two videos, a link to them is in the description below. If this video was helpful to you and you would like to see more videos like this one, please don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Trevor from Telecom Training. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.